Hey guys, I'm Insetic, with me is Blank Tester. And welcome back to Amped 2. If you're following me kind of in real time, you know I covered this game a long time ago, back in January of 2015, but I kind of left it with some loose ends. I didn't touch the Pro 3 challenges, I didn't do any of the On the Mountain challenges, and I didn't do the Legend challenges. I basically just reached rank 1 and put the game down, because after kind of the struggles that I had with the game, and also with what I remember from Amped 1, the first of the game, like especially with the Pro 3s, I did not want to touch them. I remembered the Pro 3s in Amped 1 being just kind of painful and not fun to go back and do, but in Amped 2, you know, now that I've revisited the game and I feel more comfortable with it, to me, these Pro 3s are basically just, you know, extensions of what was there. It's not like they're way further on a scale of difficulty. And also, Amped 2 has enough systems, like its style system, for, you know, nothing to be just an absolute problem trick, like you saw in Amped 1. So this video will cover the Pro 3s for all the levels in Amped 2 in one big kind of block, in one big segment, and in this video I'll kind of be talking about revisiting the game as a whole, looking back at all of the previous videos of my Let's Play, you know, whether you watched them when they came out or you just watched them in getting to this video. You know, that's a very real possibility. So to kind of try and address any tonal shift. So once again, pros work the same way as they did before. You need to get higher than the pro does on each trick, higher points, and you need to pass the last one. And in Amped 2, beating a Pro 3 will get you a professional's bio video. Once again, I will not be showing those, just like how I kind of skipped on the videos, but just extra little interesting bits, and yeah, they will give you ranks if you're not rank 1 yet. So
let's take a run.
These are definitely challenges to go for. You know, kind of back in watching Amped 2, I sort of listed them as optional content, since, you know, you need to do, like, Sponsor 3 and Photoshoot 3 to get Pro 3s. So you need to have basically done every other challenge in a level before you can do these. But, like I said, it's not like they're super impossible. They're kind of on the same difficulty as the rest of the game. If you feel like you have a handle on the game, you can go for them. If you're really struggling and you see you've got a Pro 3 left, maybe go to a new level and just go for a high score or something. But, yeah. The one thing I do want to say is that, you know, Blank Tester, kind of in the Locks video 14 for the series, you and I talked about what these color circles mean. And I kind of got it backwards, actually, that there is a points distribution among the color of the circles. That green means 0 points to 5,000. Blue is 5,001 to 10,000. Red is 10,001 to 30,000. And yellow is 30, you know, beyond that. But I was kind of saying they feel more like the difficulty of the trick, because that's sort of how you end up reading them as. Right. That's sort of how I end up reading them as. That, like, and I know you're probably waiting to speak, but just like, green, 5,000 maximum, just a basic corkscrew or rodeo, you know, with a regular landing and such, it gets you basically 5,000. So I look at a green, and if it's an air trick, I go, okay, basic flip and spin, maybe throw a grab in. Like, you saw that, 3,000. Now, you know, sometimes things happen. That's unfortunately not as good an example as I like. But I see something like that, and I'm like, okay, basic flip trick, or basic grind. I see a blue, I'm like, okay, I can do a single flip, but I need to style, or I can do a double flip. Double corkscrew, double rodeo. I see a red, if it's an air, I'm going, okay, now I need to style, and I need to focus on that. If it's on a rail, I'm thinking, okay, I either need to style this well, or it'll want me to do a combo. You know, trick in, rail, trick out, something like that. And then, if it's a yellow, and you'll see more yellows in these Pro 3s, that's either a whole heck of a lot of style, but again, these are Pro 3s, or a long combo. So you kind of think of them this way and don't really think, it's 10,050 points, it's barely a red kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I have a question, though. So, it's been a couple years now since you played Amped 2. Has your opinion of the game itself changed? Because I know I had a pretty, like, initially very hostile opinion, and that kind of softened as the game went on, I think, maybe.
Right. And your opinion kind of followed mine. And I kind of soured on the game whenever I would be faced with a tough challenge that didn't seem play-tested or just seemed like I couldn't get my head around it. And that's another thing to talk about, because yeah, my opinion has sort of changed with time and also with some tips given by other Amped 2 fans to me for how to make it an easier experience. I've definitely seen the effects of those tips, like for example, putting more points into Big Air and Ollie. If you notice back in my Let's Play, I kind of neglected those, and well, every time I'd complain about pixel-perfect jumps, imagine if I just had a little bit better air stats. So, something like that, but I think you look back at my series, and obviously the tone of any series I do, of any game I play, is based on, well, one, did I play the game as a kid, and if I did, do I remember it fondly or not? Two, if I didn't play it as a kid, how well do I pick up on it, and how much difficulty is it? And for Amped 2, I didn't have any nostalgia factor, and I certainly had a lot of beginner's difficulty. Not even just beginners, I mean, what you saw in the LPs was always my second time around. As I'd say, that 1 millicent challenge, you didn't see an hour and a half of attempts, but you did see the 8 minutes of attempts it took me the second time around. So I think the question is there merit then to getting that sort of opinion of someone who is struggling with the game as kind of an early playthrough of it? Because everyone will face that. Does these, even if it leads to kind of a more negative experience, is there worth in seeing that? Or would that turn people off more, and I should have really given the game more of an effort before going to record? Because I just want to mention, if I did my Let's Play now, there would be maybe one Anatomy of. If you remember my Anatomy of a challenges, I still think that Locke's photo shoot where you got to jump up the building and then transfer like 3 rails is way too much as a player. But that's really the only challenge that trips me up now.
I think part of it is also we're viewing it through a slightly different lens. We're different people now than we were back then. I didn't appreciate games like Dark Souls. I hate to make the comparison, but, games like Dark Souls. But I think this game is doing something similar in that it's got systems that you've got to learn, right? And you'll do well in the game if you learn the systems. It's not the kind of game where you can just kind of play it however you like.
Right.
So like you had trouble because you didn't put points in the air stats, and someone might maybe rightly say, I should be able to put points wherever I like and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the kind of game they were trying to make.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to make a game where every player, by the end of it, has basically the same stat distribution, because there is an optimal stat distribution that they want you to experiment and find your way towards, and that's where the fun of the game is.
Yeah.
And if that's the kind of game mindset you go in with, I think you'd probably enjoy this game more just from the get-go. With the idea that they have something in mind for what they want you to do.
I'm really glad you made the Dark Souls comparison, because I was kind of thinking that as well.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there is a...
I'm the one who gets to be unprofessional here, because that's not my channel.
There is a path to go down with that, but I just want to mention, putting 3 more points in Big Air means there's probably not a Breckenridge Anatomy of a Challenge video. Putting more points in means there's probably not a... Well, I'm trying to think through the anatomies of... I mean, it's tough. It's tough looking back. Now that I'm just more competent, just because I don't struggle with something now, was it worth showing that I was really struggling with something then? Like, New Zealand. I mean, that one pro. Yeah, eventually I learned that I had to basically skip 2 of the Pro's tricks in the Pro 2. And you know what? You can check my speedrun or such. I still do that now, just because I'm more comfortable with doing it that way now than trying to go for all the tricks. But yeah, to that Dark Souls comparison, someone actually said that in my stream. Like,
oh, really?
Man, Amp 2 is like the Dark Souls of snowboarding games. And I'm like, no, it's not. You can't have a Dark Souls of snowboarding games. But the more I thought about it, the more it kind of makes sense. Because the first time through, you're beating your head against the wall, and you think like, oh my god, so there's only one way to be able to do this challenge. Like, let's talk about the challenge that I'm trying right now. New Zealand Photo Shoot 3. I tried to follow the pro, but he kind of does a blind jump rail combo. That's sort of difficult. So what you're going to see in the second time is that I will intentionally trick in a different way to pass, one trick, but intentionally fail another one, and then set myself up much better to go
to accomplish the next
one
stuff
afterwards. And you look at all that and you go, or you look at like really trying to fumble with the style to get 20,000 points off this jump, and you think like, oh my god, there's like no way to do this. Or you finally figure it out and it's like, oh god, there's like only one way to do this. But the more comfortable you get, you watch beginners play Dark Souls and they stumble because it's hard.
Right.
And then you watch people who have put way too many hours in and they're doing like no armor, fists only runs. And
yeah, they can do speed runs and stuff, and it's just they make it look easy, and that's because I think instead of making it a Dark Souls comparison, we should just make up a term that, like, I just mean people in general should make up a term so that we can stop comparing things to Dark Souls, because there have been plenty of games before Dark Souls that did this. I would say something like an optimization game or an optimization centric system.
But that the realization you get is not that there's only one way of doing something, or you need to do a single thing. It's that you need to do at least something, and then you can experiment with what that entails.
Right.
To get 10,000 points, you could do a cool double front flip grab with a style, or you could, do a corkscrew style manual and do a grind. You need to get comfortable enough to kind of know what you have. Like this Pro 3 again, to talk about what we're looking at. This is a snow skating Pro 3. And there's definitely part of this challenge that's sort of testing how much you remember about snow skating, because you can do those board flip tricks with a snow skate, the kick flips, impossibles, some of the skateboarding tricks. And so to do one of these greens to get 2,000 points, should you try to do some crazy flip and grab when, you can crash if you don't hold a grab while flipping, since you're not bound to your board anymore?
Right.
Or should you just maybe do a 360 with a couple kick flips? Like, in one of my failed speedruns, I lost 6 minutes to this challenge because I would get to this final jump and just wreck every time when it's 2,500 points. Jump, do a 360, do a couple flip tricks. I said over and over in my own series, and I continued to, forget this lesson and relearn it, that it's really helpful to learn what your basic tricks are. Like I said, basic corkscrew or rodeo, 5,000 points. A double corkscrew rodeo is 9,000, 10,000. Those flip tricks on snow skates are a few thousand each. So just kind of start putting the pieces together now. And yeah, so wrapping back around to, is there merit to hear all of that? It did seem to be cathartic for some people. I did get some comments like, yeah, I love this game, but man, those photo shoot challenges were so annoying. But watching back, yeah, negativity can just feed into itself. I mean, especially in those kind of later videos when we were so close but kind of sick of the level, sick of the game's shit.
Yeah.
Like especially Locks level 14. It's just, and like I hate to kind of call someone out, but like Vinmetal episode 13, this level Bear Mountain full, he kept waiting for the level to turn shitty. And we kept having to sway him like, no, trust us, this is a good one.
Right.
And
well, the fact of the matter is, we didn't give the game enough of a chance ourselves. You know, and it was both because we didn't understand what we were... I mean, you didn't understand what you were getting into, and I was there along for the ride, and I have my filtered perceptions filtered through you, you know, because I'm not playing the game. So, you know, maybe there is some merit to it, because, you know, there's some people who can, you know... I mean, obviously there's people who will enjoy someone just shitting on whatever they see, but I would definitely not put this game in the same camp of bad games that you've covered, you know?
Right.
Especially, like, there are some games that are so bad you do in Let's Not Play. There are other games where they're bad, but you still do a full Let's Play of them, like Johnny Mosley. And I don't think Johnny Mosley is an optimization game, where you have to understand its systems. The people making the game didn't understand the systems, right? This game, the people who made it are clearly competent. They know what they're doing. Right. They know what they have a vision, and they made this game very precisely. And we didn't appreciate how precise they were making it, I think.
Right, right. Yeah,
Which is a shame, but...
There's games that I have played, and I know I have played enough of, like Evolution Skateboarding. I just pulled a game off the top of my head.
Yeah, or Dark Summit.
Well, I mean, I'm talking not a game that that part of the fun was how bad it was. I mean, Evolution Skateboarding was middle of the road.
Okay,
it was
I see
competent,
what you mean.
it had Rick McCrank, but it was very middle of the road.
Right.
I feel zero need to go back to that game. But Amped 2, I always felt like there was something I was missing. People loved this game too much for it to be how I felt it was. And, you know, honestly, like I said, I got a lot of comments around Christmas of 2018 about this game, and that's kind of what led me to give it another shot. Because they were specific comments. If it was just like, I loved this game as a kid, you didn't understand it, I'd just be like, okay.
Whatever, yeah.
But it was the fact, like, hey, I noticed you didn't put a lot of points into Big Air and Ollie, and that's where you had trouble with some of the photo shoots. That's let me think, yeah, I have the game, I have your Xbox, let me try another playthrough. And boom, like suddenly, like I said, Breckenridge.
With that advice, it suddenly makes sense.
Yeah.
I will say, people who leave comments like that, please, thank you very much. That's very helpful. Obviously, you're welcome to leave any kind of comment, but, like, it's great when we get comments like that.
Because your comments spawned me showing off the Pro 3s, me doing an Own the Mountain Guide series like I did for Amped 1, after swearing I never would because Amped 2 was too damn big.
Right.
And me going over the legends, which, you know, perfect that we're down here near at the very end now, having just done all the Pro 3s, that, yeah, I'll be doing this, and then once my Own the Mountain Guide is done, I'll be also doing videos for the Legend Challenges, the legendary Legend Challenges that really push people to the brink.
And also, those comments spurred on a new sense of appreciation for the game in us. So, thanks. Gives me a better sense of what the game is supposed to be. That helps me be a better person.
Now, I don't think I'll put in the effort to completely re-LP it. I think that's a little much. But definitely, I think you should look back on my previous coverage with that mindset of that, yeah, I mean, I'm competent at extreme sports games, and I am hitting things that are making me struggle, and certainly a game should be designed so that newcomers can make it through adequately, but that there is a lot to unlock, and I really do hope more people can pick up and play Amped. Because one more thing on this is that, you know, 4 years in, and my series is still the only one that really shows off everything through to the end. I think that's part of this as well, that this has gone from, okay, I'm someone who is showing off this game, to, oh, I am the person who will get to show off anything about this game. That is also part of why I'm watching my words and trying to be a little more professional in what I show and what I sell on. So yeah, that was Pro 3s. As you saw, yeah, might ask you to do some bigger tricks or a more interesting line, but it's not really the complete ramp up in difficulty that the ones in Amped 1 were. You go back to Amped 1, and that game is definitely clunkier to where the Pro 3s were a hassle. But here, I think if you're handling the rest of the game fine, you should go for the Pro 3s. But thank you. I hope you're enjoying the Own the Mountain guides as well, and make sure to stick around for the Legend challenges.